The head of the Republican Party, Reince Priebus. Chairman Priebus, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, I'm happy to be on the show. Thank you all for inviting me.
Well,
appreciate it.
Thanks for talking to us. So everyone is anticipating what President Barack Obama is going to say tonight. But even before you know, you already have a response, actually two responses. So what are Republicans going to say tonight?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I think this is getting to be pretty much old news. I mean, this is now the fifth State of the Union address. The president is going to continue to make promises that he can't keep. The problem here is that the president has shown an incapability of working with both Republicans and Democrats, banging heads together in a room, and coming up with plans that are actually going to help our country. I mean, so, look, he gives good speeches, but unfortunately the follow-through just isn't there. And that's the problem with this president.
All right, you know, the two responses tonight going to be given by women members of your party. That is a first. Two women giving the English response, the Spanish response. Is this part of the GOP's rebranding effort?
Well, I don't think it's that much of a... I think that's going a little too far. But I think we're always conscious of making sure that different people, different voices, different faces are speaking for the Republican Party. I mean, last year Marco Rubio gave the response. The year before Paul Ryan gave the response. I think it is part of our effort to show America that different people speak for our party and they come from different perspectives. And so I think that's a positive thing for our party, and I think it's positive for our country.
So let me ask you about immigration. The New York Times reported that Republicans are going to propose legalization without a path to citizenship. Would you recommend the party to tackle this issue this year, or is it something too divisive that you would recommend to do it on another time or to ignore it altogether?
Well, I mean, first of all, Jorge, I don't know what the conference is going to propose. I mean, I think if you, and I'm sure you reported on it, by the way, Speaker Boehner was asked this morning, and I was there at the press conference, what are the principles going to be coming out of conference? And he had said very clearly that this is going to be a top issue discussed tomorrow at the Republican retreat, and then when decisions are made as far as what those principles are going to be, he's going to talk about it. The second thing is, and I think you'd at least have to agree with this, Republicans are in agreement that immigration reform, whether it be comprehensive or semi-comprehensive or serious, however you want to phrase this thing, whether you're Rand Paul, Marco Rubio, myself, I think you had Jeff Denham on earlier, the one thing that people agree on is that we have to fix a broken system, and I think that for our party, that's a serious commitment that we've been very open with to people that are listening on this subject.
The question is if it'll include a path to citizenship and if it's going to be done this year. That's the question.
And that's a good question, but that's not a question that I can answer, unfortunately, because I'm not the guy that gets to decide what's in the bill.
All right, we know that we're going to hear a lot tonight about action, particularly executive action, which many feel cuts Congress out. What do we think will be the Republican response to the fact that the president intends to use more executive action if he cannot work with Congress?
Well, the problem with the president is he's not willing to work with Congress on anything. So all this sort of, I've got a pen and I'm going to increase the minimum wage here and I'm going to, he doesn't have legislative authority under the Constitution. So I think in most cases, you know, the authority to write bills, the authority to spend money, that rests in the Congress. That's what the Article 1 of the Constitution says. I come from a place where I think the Constitution matters. The president's image is upside down. I think he's acting like a child. And I think the American people see it. I don't think it's going to fly. I think it's going to be another speech with a lot of promises. Blame the Congress. I'm right. They're wrong. Look, I think there's a lot of things broken here in Washington, and one of them is that the president is incapable of leading and wanting to lead. I mean, it's hard. It's not easy, but he doesn't like it, and I don't think he wants to do it.
But, Chairman, with all due respect for viewers at home and for voters, when they hear you, the chairman of the party, calling the president of the United States a child, doesn't that only add to the disenchantment that a lot of voters feel with Washington?
Well, I think the problem is that what people know is that the president is the CEO of this country. And giving speeches talking about if you don't like my solutions, if it's not my way, it's the highway, then I'm just going to do it myself and write legislation or write executive orders to do it my way. I think it is childlike behavior. But I also think that people know that it's childlike behavior, and they agree that it is. And look, we want a leader. And whether the president's a Democrat or Republican, I want a leader to be president of the United States. I want someone to say, look, guys, we're going to come together on an agreement. You're going to get some of the things that you want on this side. The other side's going to get a few things that they want. And we're going to put the best darn thing together that we can to lead this country, to put people back to work, to give them the health care that they need. That's what we needed to talk about. But he didn't do that. Now, he lied to them about health care. He lied to them that they could keep their doctor, and he told them that he was going to put all these plans in place, and he didn't deliver.
But isn't it just getting better? The White House says that 3 million people have already enrolled on Obamacare. Is part of your strategy still to try to derail Obamacare?
No, but Obamacare is derailing on its own. I think it's 5 million people have already gotten cancellation notice. There's more people that have gotten health care. People have been dropped. They're losing their coverage. Look, all you have to do is look at the polling. I mean, even among Hispanic voters now, he's lost, what, 18 or 19 points among Hispanics in the last 3 months. You look at polling in all of these targeted Senate races that are coming up that are important around the country, the president is not just underwater a little bit. He's underwater completely because of Obamacare.
I'm wondering, for you, is he a lame duck president already? Do you think Obama is already a lame duck president?
Well, I hope not. I mean, I hope that he would be a president that understands that leading the free world and being the president of the greatest country on the face of the earth is something that's worth fighting for and something worth working with Republicans and Democrats alike to improve. So, no, I hope he's not. But he's acting like a president that doesn't really want to go through the sort of constitutional dictates that require of a president.
Chairman, if we take one word away from the Republican response tonight, what do you want it to be?
That we've got better solutions, that if only the president would sit down and talk to us, that even if some of our solutions were incorporated with his plans, I think we could put the president on a better pathway.
Okay. Chairman, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Jorge. Thank you.
All right. Up next, the only other